Hi, everyone.
Hello, Michael.
I thought this week of Thanksgiving we could just rest for a second in recognizing the gratitude we have just for the people in this room. The music that we have, the people who have led us, and people who have been close to us, people who have shared experiences with us, people who have sung with us, and just kind of rest in that for a second. And how grateful I am, I know for sure, that we have this, I call it a little miracle that we have here. Not just for the folks who are here tonight, but also for those in our little contemplative community who are traveling or doing Thanksgiving things or off in different places right now and couldn't be with us today, or others. And just rest in that gratefulness and thanks for them and this. I wanted to draw your attention before I got started anyway. After this week, we're going to start an Advent series, right? Is it next week? Yeah. I think so. I woke up Irene. That's a good thing. I think so. I'm not sure, Michael. Always on top of things. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that. And also just to draw your attention to this flyer that's out there. This is our Advent Dream Work Listening Like Joseph Workshop, Dream Workshop by my friend Kevin Laughlin. He's not here right now. But it is an Advent Dream Work Workshop. And he's bugged me for a long time, I'd say years, to come to one of his dream workshops. He's done them, many of them, and I've never been to one. And I always tell him it's because I don't dream. Or if I do dream, I can't remember him. So why go to his dream work workshop? And he assures me, I won't say he promises me, but he assures me that if I go, I'll find ways to elicit more and more of those dreams, which are in all of us, actually. And so I'm looking forward to it. That's from 1:30 to 4 o'clock on the 9th. So I can't remember if I've done this before here. I'm beginning to be like my old man. My dad used to teach at the university, and he was a raconteur. He used to tell stories, and he'd tell them, and he'd go on speeches, and he'd tell these stories. Finally, his students gave him a sweatshirt which said, "Stop me if I've told this story before." So I'm starting to feel like that right now. I'm not sure what I've said or haven't said. But regardless, if I've done this before, it's never too often to do it. So let's just think for a second and just quietly by ourselves and think about all the unearned gifts we've been given in our lives. Unearned by us. What are unearned gifts that we've done nothing to receive, that we've experienced in our lives? Just sit in that for a while. Now, some of those gifts are gifts that have been made for us, like highways we ride on, which we had nothing to do, a business that created a product that we use that we had nothing to do with, but still, they're a gift to us. Someone invented something. Someone invented assistive technology, which my dad was involved in when he was teaching special ed, things which helped people to be able to be more able to be successful in life. Other gifts that we've gotten, I've got a little thing in me which is called a watchman. And it's like a sieve. I'm not sure if it's called a sieve, but when blood clots come up here, it catches them. So I had AFib, and I had a couple surgeries for AFib, and then I thought I was going to be on blood thinners the rest of my life, but somebody invented something called a watchman. They went into me, they inserted it, and I'm forever grateful. Now, some things that are unearned gifts that we have, no human has made. walking outside and experiencing the sun which comes up in the morning is something that no human has ever made. Watching sunset, smelling the flowers. Now, obviously, there are a lot of things which humans have adapted, which we've received, which we've never made. But if we think about all the unearned gifts that we have received, it's astonishing. I used to give a workshop, and we used to imagine the unearned gifts that we've had, and then the earned gifts, because we've done a lot to earn the gifts that we have too, right? We've raised a family, and we've raised them in ways which have been joys to our heart. Those are earned gifts, things that we've done, and things that we've managed through our lives to be to do something good, which has been a gift back to us. And so all those gifts are gifts which are blessings to us. Now, when I gave the workshops, I didn't really use the word blessings, but those are blessings to us. And just like blessings to us which are unearned, Jesus comes and talks about the Beatitudes. And the Beatitudes are all blessings. I went back, and just to make sure I understood what the word beatitude meant, it's defined as supreme blessedness. It's great spiritual happiness, supreme blessedness. And so I also got some more quotes, just trying to understand the Beatitudes a little more, because I've had a hard time understanding exactly what they meant. And obviously, and as I've thought about it and I've learned a little more about it, various people have various ideas about it. So there's not just one way of thinking about the Beatitudes. But here's what Thomas Merton had to say. The Beatitudes are the identification of Christ with the poor, the suffering, the meek, the humble, and the merciful. I find that astonishing. In Jesus' time and in our time, how do people feel like they are blessed? I'm blessed with good looks. I'm blessed with prosperity. I'm blessed with richness. I'm blessed with all these things I've garnered. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I have all those things. But what does Jesus look at? Jesus does not just look at the wealthy or the people who were born with attributes. He looks at everyone. He looks through the Beatitudes and said, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are the suffering, blessed are the meek, the humble, and the merciful. Richard Rohr, who we had in our reading tonight, actually in today's Contemplation and Action Word of the Day, which was written by Brian McLaren, he talked completely about the Beatitudes and how those Beatitudes are things which in our life, which even though we have suffering, which is also a gift to us, this gift of suffering and this gift of love, even though we have these things in our lives, and we may not have the things that we have always thought we wanted, Jesus still blesses us. Richard Rohr says, Beatitudes turn the world's values upside down. And think of the values that we have in this world right now. They reveal God's bias toward the humble, the weak, and the poor. Being poor in spirit, he says, means knowing you are not God. It is the necessary starting point for all spiritual growth. We are not God. God may be in us, God may be part of us, but we aren't God. And then finally, Frederick Bruner says the Beatitudes are Jesus' surprising, countercultural announcement that God's blessing rests on the unlikely and the unheralded. And so when we think about that, we think that no matter who we are, what's happened to us, what we've done, what's happened to us which has been unearned, where we say, oh God, why has this happened to me? Or, gosh, why is this? Why have these things happened? In the middle of all that, we can say that God blesses us with understanding and learning and depth that comes from that suffering. And so as we think about the Beatitudes, we think that no matter who we are, whether we're poor, whether we've lost our reputations, whether we have committed things which we're so ashamed of, which we are, in the eyes of society, we are the dregs for this reason or that reason or another. Even if we feel that way, we can always know that through the Beatitudes that we are blessed. And further, to go back to Genesis, we are blessed to be a blessing to others. And by those blessings, we will bless others in the world. And so those are the Beatitudes. They're not saying you have to be poor in spirit. They're saying even those of us who are poor in spirit, don't know anything about spirituality, are blessed. And this Thanksgiving, that is a lot to be grateful for.
Hey, Michael, I want to editorialize for a bit. It's okay to tell stories over and over again. You know, we love your stories. Have you ever sat down with a child and you put to read Goodnight Moon and they say, "Oh, Daddy, we already read that." We love your stories over and over.
Thank you. Well, you'll hear it again. Anyway, thank you for that.
You bet. Grateful for you.
You are blessed, no matter who you are. Isn't that something special? You are loved.